We all remember the crazy powerful changes of Mercy. Like it or not, that meta was something to fear. And if the Blizzard team isn't careful, we might see a meta that is 10 times worse. Symmetra's proposed rework is a huge issue for Overwatch. We will see a hero that will absolutely destroy the entire game's foundation as we know it. Here are the top 10 reasons why Sims rework will be horribly broken. My name is Nathan and this is Blizzard Guides. Now, I really hate fearmongering, but this rework is nothing but a changeless of huge buffs to Sim's kit, not just her viability. From her E ability being a now two-way teleporter to her 200 damage per second primary, she will ruin the game for everyone. Blizzard, if you're listening, please do not let these changes go through. They need to be reined in. Well, now let's go over the top 10 reasons why. At number 10, there's her absolutely ridiculous damage output from her primary fire. If you guys have not seen the proposed list of changes yet, she can now do so much damage that she can kill a 200 HP target in just 1.02 seconds. In 6 seconds, she can bring her damage up to a 100% charged Zarya. Symmetra's 120 DPS fire already is scary, but the 195 DPS is just next level. The left click goes from 65 damage per second to 130 to 195, all in 2-second intervals. You guys really don't realize how much damage this is, but even if it only went up to 150, the next point is just going to show you guys why this is such a stupidly powerful change. At number 9, she regens ammo while doing damage. Yeah, it's really crazy. Her primary fire now also charges ammo upon doing damage to shields. This charges her primary fire up while also giving her ammo. So all Sim has to do is walk up to a Ryan, hold left click or right trigger for a bit and get up to 195 DPS and then mow down the entire enemy team. If you thought Brigitte and reworked Hanzo made tanks difficult to play, just wait until Symmetra is reworked. Tank mains, I'm just really sorry. You're never going to have that shield up without it being fodder for Symmetra's microwave of death. The only nerf to her primary is now that it doesn't lock on and acts more like Zarya's beam, but just in case you thought that was a bad change, they also happen to increase the range on that. So overall, this is a monstrous buff that alone would bring Sim to the top tier of overpowered heroes. But folks, we're just getting started. At number 8, her turrets now fly. Jeff, why? She can now launch her turrets in a straight line and allow them to fly across the map and set up. This change is actually somewhat reasonable if they didn't change anything else about the turrets. But regardless, this is still a net buff in addition to the laser cutter gun that she has. It's going to be lots of fun setting up only to have some turrets microwaving you from behind, as well as having a turret fly out of nowhere and instantly lock on and mow you down. But I mentioned that this would be an okay change if they didn't change anything else. But in true Blizzard fashion, they just can't buff one part of her kit. They have to buff each and every part of every part in her kit. So not only do the turrets fly, but they've got some values changed around as well. At number 7, her turrets now do way more damage. As if they didn't already do enough damage, now when you launch her turret, you fire off something that does the near equivalent of 2 turrets of damage in a hearty package of 1. This means that if you catch a squishy enemy off guard with the turret, you're going to be doing around 60 DPS, killing them in only 3 1/3 seconds. This is just absolutely stupid. Her turrets now do a base damage of her regular primary fire that is uncharged. This is a change that is legitimately going to break the game. There's no extra risk for her putting a turret down, allowing her to just instantly destroy her enemies, all doing it from the comfort of her own backline. And if you thought this was the only change, well, I'm sorry to say it only gets worse from here. At number 6, her turrets also have more health as well. Okay, so first and foremost, the damage alone would have been crazy. The flying alone would have been crazy. But this, plus everything else, is absolutely stupidly broken. Now, the turrets will also have 30 HP, so she will not only have an ability that does massive amounts of damage from an expendable turret, but she will also remove her biggest counter in the game, Winston. All counters that she once previously had are going to be gone. Now that the turrets have 30 HP, her once traditional counters will no longer be able to remove hosts of turret in one go. This is another extremely questionable change by Blizzard, as Symmetra's turrets are now even more reliable. The only negative change to her turrets is that she has a smaller capacity of 3 turrets, but if we're going to be honest, this is not going to affect her at all. These turret changes alone would have been a solid rework, but the extra other changes are just really making her something to be feared. At number 5, this one is just a straight up buff to her alternate fire. If you thought that her alternate fire was weak, like I do, be prepared to be shown the new reality. Symmetra's alternate fire now goes 3 times as fast, at 30 meters per second. For a frame of reference, Pharah's rockets go 35 meters per second, meaning her right click is a literal Pharaoh rocket. It does 130 damage upon impact now, and it also does splash damage upon the initial impact and explosion. So basically, she now can shoot Pharaoh rockets or Junkrat mines, or she can do something that does a bit more damage than Genji's blade that has a faster fire rate now. At number 4, if all of those changes sounded crazy to you, the orb also now takes 1 second to charge instead of 2. Overall, all they did was pump a ton of buffs into her right click ability, allowing her to do more damage than some of the spammy damage dealers in the game. So with a 30 meter per second travel time, 130 damage upon impact, and a 1 second charge, Symmetra can literally spam her right click all she wants and do massive amounts of damage to groups of enemies. This is going to be absolutely ridiculous, and I think this is by far the worst change to her gun. Being able to do this much damage at such a little cost while also being so reliable from a hero like Sim will just move her into a spot that is unimaginably powerful. At number 3, her teleporter is now also on her E ability. This is just getting worse and worse. This literally sounds like a rework designed by somebody who knows nothing about reworking. It sounds super fun, right? Reminds me a lot of actually the Mercy rework, but a lot worse. The teleporter will remain for a short period of time and allow you to teleport allies. It will have a 25 meter range, and you will place the entrance right in front of you, and the exit ends up where you aimed, 25 meters or so away. The flank teleporter is an already really good strategy, but now Sim doesn't need her allies to be grouped up and spawn, nor does she need to charge up her ultimate, and they can be instantly moved into the backline with no problem at all. Blizzard, I'm really confused by this change, but guess what guys, it gets even better. At number 2, her new teleporter allows her to teleport things like Diva's Bomb, Junkrat's Riptire, and Torb's Turret. There's going to be a lot of coordinated plays where a teleporter ends up in the enemy backline and a Diva Bomb ends up just team wiping the unsuspecting enemy team. This is such a ridiculously stupid, powerful change that I'm just really wondering what the Blizzard team is on. One of the changes in this list alone is enough to bring Symmetra into the meta. This entire rework, however, is going to completely destroy the meta. I'm really serious about this. I know it sounds like I'm fear-mongering or spreading a bunch of fear in the community, but this is seriously one of the dumbest changes that I've ever heard from Blizzard. There's no other way to describe it. The amount of power that she's going to have from any aspect of her kit will allow her to just completely shut down any counters that she has, any team comps you see. We're going to see only Sim if these changes go through. And lastly, just at number 1, her ultimate just places a giant shield because why not? Her ultimate works just like a Rhine shield that is entirely covering the map. It's placed much like May's wall, and it also goes through walls. This is one of those changes that will ruin the game and the pace of the game alone. A good Symmetra will learn the OP spots to place her shield, cutting off the entire enemy team, blocking all of the damage, and allowing some insane plays that were totally unimaginable. Not to mention, she can place it from spawn, meaning if she wants to disrupt the team fight that's going on point while she died, she can just place her ultimate in spawn and it will make it all the way to the point, regardless of where she's standing. This ultimate ability is also overlooked as one of the overpowered ability that she is getting, but this is probably one of the scarier changes. All in all, these Symmetra changes are really crazy. I'm kind of scared where Overwatch is going to be going if we keep seeing reworks and changes to Overwatch's meta like this. Blizzard has a tendency to overbuff heroes. We've seen Mercy become overbuffed. We're seeing Hanzo becoming overbuffed. The release of Brigitte is also another example of Blizzard not really understanding how much balance needs to be going into the game. When you rework a hero, you shouldn't be buffing everything in the game, but as we are seeing with the Symmetra rework, all of her abilities are just getting really huge buffs in general. I know this rework is intended to bring her up to pace with the fast-paced game of Overwatch, but this is just making her really powerful without really changing her pace at all. All they're doing is setting all of the sliders on Symmetra's abilities to the maximum while also making them really suppressive. Symmetra falls under one of those heroes that is very suppressive to play against, but these changes are only going to make her worse. I don't think that this direction for Symmetra is a good change at all, mostly because of the insane changes, but also because Symmetra is known for one of those heroes that is a little bit easier to play, and these changes are just going to make her even easier to play, bringing her to one of those places in the game where she is an unliked hero, and we're going to see a lot more toxicity introduced if this hero actually goes live. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about these changes. I'm very interested in what the community has to say because I know that we do have a lot of Symmetra mains in the comments, so I want to hear what you guys have to to say about this. And also, if you have any questions about the game in general, let me know in the comments down below, as I'm always reading the comments. And also, don't forget to leave a like on this video, as it really helps us know that you guys are enjoying this content. And also, don't forget to subscribe, as we have a lot of tips and tricks videos so that you can be the best Overwatch player that you can be, and we've got epic moments videos so that you can see the best plays from around the globe. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Have a nice day. My name is Nathan, and this was Blizzard Guides.